Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it's that time. We are doing our live stream show and getting ready for that Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully you guys are excited. Hopefully you're ready for a great time tonight, talking fishing, chatting fishing, and enjoying some time together. We are going to be giving away free stuff. We're going to be answering your questions live, and we're going to be showing you what we're catching, talking about what's coming up, and much, much more. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on this beautiful Sunday, March 5th. It is sunny and mid to low 80s and absolutely gorgeous. Springtime is here somewhat. I think this might be fake spring. In Florida, we tend to have fake spring before real spring. So I think we still have a couple cold fronts that are going to cool things off for us here coming up. But as of right now, it is definitely warming up fast. We've got mackerel here. I don't want to launch into the fishing report. It's still early. We're going to get to the fishing report, but don't want to get there too early. I'm getting ahead of myself. Make sure you guys comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like the stream for us. Always super helpful to help us spread the word and to make sure everybody sees that the live stream show is on now. And then also, don't forget as well, if you want a chance to win some free stuff tonight, make sure you comment at least one time. And you can say anything you want, but you got to comment at least once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win some free stuff tonight. So make sure you comment once. Also, want to give a shout out to all our star senders out there tonight. Jim Evans, Stephen Batchelor, Todd Stutzman, Larry White, Todd Stutzman again, Yukimi Barker with the big 550. Thank you, Yukimi. Richard Blazak, Rolando Kirk, and Terry Feather. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support and the stars. Also, a big shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. If If you haven't checked out our friends at Gator Gyms Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete, you're missing out. Go say hi to our friends at Gator Gyms Tackle. They have the best selection, killer deals, awesome shop, really, really good people over there. So great opportunity to stop by and see our friends at Gator Gyms. And you get a free gift if you bring a young angler there and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. They'll give you a free gift as well. Richard Bedwell, appreciate those 500 stars, my man. Thank you, buddy. So we talked about our star senders. Also, shout out to our supporters group. If you're a part of our supporters group, we really appreciate that. That really helps us out and drives more ability to do our shows. The supporters group, it's only $4.99 a month. Gives you behind-the-scenes access to our operations and a little bit more insight into my life, a little bit more connectivity plus communication, and you get access to the private supporters group and the private supporters after show, after every live show, and we give away some cool stuff in there occasionally as well. So check out the supporters group. It's only $4.99 for the entire month. Great opportunity to hang out and get some more insight, feedback, and communication. Also, make sure you comment. That's how you enter to win. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests, a 10-hour all day for 2 guests, a 39-hour trip for 1 guest, and the Hubbard's Marina swag pack. So make sure you comment at least one time. Make sure you give the stream a like, give our page a like, give our page a follow, a subscription. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all those places. And hopefully you like all the stuff we post all the time, but especially the live stream show. Philip Kavanaugh with the big 1,200 stars. Thank you, Philip. We appreciate you, dog. Anthony Smith, what's up, my man? Louis Canaveri, appreciate you as well. Thank you guys all for the stars and the support. Then also with that, let's get into some photos, show you guys what we are catching, what we're seeing out there on the water, and all that good stuff. We're going to start inshore, then we're going to work our way near shore and offshore. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the weather. We might get an inshore report from the good man himself, the legend Captain Mike Anderson. Then we'll get into your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, you need to make sure you comment text us at the phone number on the screen. So text us on the phone number on the screen if you have a question you want answered live during the show. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you're on Trovo, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, it doesn't matter. If you have a question you want answered live during the show, you do have to text it to the phone number on the screen. We don't see the comments. They roll by really, really fast. So in order to be able to have your question answered, you got to text us at that phone number. So with that, let's get into the photos. So first photo of the night, nice flounder. The flounder action is going pretty well. We're seeing some of these flounder near shore around those sandy bottom areas adjacent to structure, and also near shore around those areas of hard rock bottom drifting. We'll find those flounder from time to time as well. And then with that also, we're seeing the Jack Crevalle inshore, especially early mornings, the Back Bay area. Lots of Jack Crevalle have been caught. The man, the myth, the legend himself, John Sasser, has been catching a bunch of these Jack Crevalle around our local area and sharing us plenty of photos. We've been seeing some pompano out on the jetty. The pompano bite has actually picked up almost every morning. A few pompano are being caught around the jetty. We're seeing those redfish in the Back Bay areas, mangrove shorelines, oyster bars, grass flats. Seeing a good bite of redfish. The snook have been pouring out of the Back Bay. Seeing a lot of snook action around the flats, mangroves, some of those residential canals, and still seeing plenty of nice fat trout. Look at John Sasser's trout there. That is a snook-sized trout. Absolute beast. So some good trout action, especially around bridge lights, dock lights at night. Still, I would say your probably best bet inshore is sheep's head around dock lights, or excuse me, not dock lights, around docks, piers, bridges, jetties, rock piles, any hard structure, really holding a lot of sheep's head. We didn't have any good photos of them this week to show you, but definitely a lot of good sheep's head action. We're seeing a ton of trout, especially from our buddy John Sasser fishing those bridge lights and dock lights at night. During the day, the trout hanging out in those little troughs. The snook are starting to pour back in. We should start seeing some snook as well. So good opportunity for some inshore fishing. Let's work our way near shore and offshore and show you what we're catching near shore and offshore as well. Big black sea bass. This is called a humphead black sea bass. The males get that big hump to the top of their head, and they get that really good blue coloration. So that is a big male sea bass. And a lot of people from the Northeast are like, hey, man, that's not a big sea bass. For us, for Central West Florida, this is a big sea bass. And they're normally about anywhere from 12 to about 16 inches, and that's big. Anything over 10 is a keeper. We don't see real big sea bass, but they are always a welcome addition. We're seeing a lot of these hogfish. Hogfish bite is going well for us, 10-hour all day. You can see the two clowns in the background there trying to photobomb Capt. Frank and Smokey behind our buddy Jim Kendall. Nice hogfish from a recent 10-hour trip. Definitely seeing some more hogfish on the 10-hour compared to the half-day, but good opportunities even on the half-day fishing trip to get some of those 10 hours. But even on the half-day trip to get some of those hogfish, but the 10-hour all day is definitely giving you the best chance at giving you more fishing time to dial in on those hogfish, and they're definitely catching more of them. But we're seeing them on the squid there. You can tell that one was caught on squid, but mostly on the shrimp. The shrimp action is definitely still the best bet for your hogfish. Look at this monster mangrove snapper from a recent 39-hour trip. This was the last spot of the day, the last spot of the trip. Coming down to the wire and nailed the biggest mangrove snapper and won the jackpot. So we're seeing a lot of nice mangroves, 10-hour all day. Look at these 10-hour all day mangrove snapper. Some big dogs. We're seeing a lot of big mangroves offshore on our longer range trips. Some nice big porgies mixed in, big red grouper action. It is a great time to get out there on the water, near shore, offshore, even inshore. Our buddy Lance Hall and his family went out there, super light 12-hour extreme trip, crushed them. We're seeing some big kingfish out there on our long-range trips. Some pretty good action on the blackfin tuna as well. So good action inshore, near shore, and offshore, and really enjoying some pretty good fishing opportunities right now. So, and light loads. The light loads won't continue very long. We are getting into spring break. Spring break has been a little slower than normal. Typically by now, spring break would have us inundated with people. We're definitely about 40 to 50% less busy than normal right now, just because of the sensationalized news that's going on about the state of Florida and our water quality issues. So because of that, it's a good opportunity for you as a local to get out and go fishing, because it's not a ton of tourists around. But it should get busier, especially as we get into summertime. Red snapper season starts picking up. That's when it won't really matter. It will kind of overcome that. But D Beers, appreciate those 500 stars. Thank you so much, D. Now, we talked a little bit about the fish. Let's get into the weather. Let's see what the weather's doing. So we're going to pop over to hubbardsmarina.com. Once on hubbardsmarina.com, we're going to go up here to fishing trips, scroll down to the weather links page. We're going to hit on the left side here under wind finder forecast. We're going to hit the 5 and 10 hour forecast area first. Egmont Key buoy. This is our near shore fishing trips buoy. You can see here Monday looks real good. Calm winds. Today it calmed down nicely, but it was blowing Friday and Saturday. And I had been saying that probably Tuesday, Wednesday was going to be the best fishing. But the weather got better for today, so I think everything's moved up. So I was saying Monday, Tuesday is probably the best day to go. And today I was kind of unsure of, and unfortunately the fish were a little unsure today too. The 10-hour all day had some pretty tough fishing. The 5-hour half day this morning had some pretty tough fishing. The 5-hour afternoon half day did a little better, but it was definitely a tougher bite today, and I think that has everything to do with the fact it was blowing 40, 45 miles an hour, gusting to 45 miles an hour Friday. It was gusting to like 30 miles an hour Saturday. It finally relented today, but I think those fish were still in a little bit of shock. Tomorrow's going to look a lot better. Another day of really nice, moderate conditions, beautiful seas. Tuesday is great again. We've got the full moon Tuesday as well. Wednesday doesn't look bad at all. Really nice until Wednesday afternoon. It picks up for a little bit of a high pressure tries to settle in. And then we have that kind of pressure gradient fighting over the area for another weekend. So I think the weekend weather is going to pick up. Kind of the same pattern we've been into, which is great weather the first half of the work week. Second half of the work week, the weather starts to deteriorate. Weekend is kind of bumpy, and that's what it looks like again this week. Here's the offshore report. Same thing, gorgeous Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday it starts to pick up a little bit. Thursday looks bumpy. Friday looks bumpy. Weekend looks pretty darn bumpy. And look at that big cold front scheduled there Tuesday. Hopefully, I'm praying we get this cold front. I don't like bad weather. I don't like canceling trips, but we need some cold front action to cool things off. It's warming up way too fast, and we got a lot of stuff that needs to be broke up and pushed around. So this is the one rare time that you'll see me kind of hoping for a cold front, but we'll see about that. So who knows? Let's see here. We talked a little bit about the fishing and showed you the photos. We talked about the weather. I think it is time to give away our first free trip of the night. Let's give away our 10-hour all day for 2 guests. The 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 10-hour all day trip. Todd Stutzman. Congratulations, Todd, on that big win. From Port Richey, Newport Richey, so just north of us. You won a 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests, Todd. Remember, if you're picked as one of those lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to text us at the phone number on the screen, your full home address. So make sure you text us quickly, Todd, your full home address to prove you were watching live. So we talked about the weather and that. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Want to make sure we mention our events. This month we've got March 19th at Bass Pro Shops, 2 p.m. Sunday, March 19th, 2 p.m. We've got a Final Friday, big crawfish boil, big free beer, free food, free music party, March 31st. That's the last Friday of the month. So really good time. And hopefully you guys will join us. So that is March 31st for Final Friday, March 19th, Sunday, 2 p.m. at Bass Pro Shops. And then Tuesday, March 28th at Bartow Ford for Captain Scott Moore talking to us at the Real Animals, Bartow Ford Real Animals fishing conversation. Going to be a great time. And Captain Scott Moore literally wrote the book on snook fishing in Tampa Bay. So really cool opportunity and a great time as well. So join us Tuesday night, March 28th for the Bartow Ford Real Animals fishing conversation. That'll happen at Bartow Ford from 6 to 8 p.m. Final Friday, 6 to 9 p.m., March 31st. We'll see you out for all 3 of those events, hopefully. And then, hopefully, some fishing and dolphin tours as well, right? All right, let's get into some questions. What questions do you guys have? First question, which one of your trips runs into the most cobia? Cobia or a bycatch? We don't really see cobia specifically on any one trip. I would say when cobia were really thick, we'd see them on half days, we'd see them on 10 hours, we'd see them on 12 hours. You just never know. It's one of those things that we don't really have a set trip that this is the trip you'll see cobia on, because they're a pelagic fish that goes all the way into Tampa Bay, and we see 100 miles from shore too. It's not like a kingfish or especially like a wahoo. A wahoo, you're only going to see that offshore. Whereas like a cobia, you could see a cobia fishing the flats of Tampa Bay, or you could see a cobia in 280 foot of water on a wreck offshore. You never know. So it's hard to say what trip you would see the most cobia in. And then the other question that same gentleman had was about red snapper. When red snapper season opens, when do when do they bite best? In the morning or during the day or at night? Generally, we target red snapper during the day. That's when we see a majority of red snapper, but they do bite through the nighttime as well. And that big old sigh, that's the man, Capt. Mike Anderson. What's going on, buddy? How are you? Mike, you there, buddy?
Hey, I got you.
You got me? This isn't the radio. We don't have any fancy buttons to cue you in, so we're not pretty, there yet.
You're not very loud tonight, so it was hard to hear you. My bad.
I'll try to work on that. I'll try to be louder for you.
You're always a little loud, so I'm surprised when you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like I wear Mike just down enough to where he doesn't get pissed off at me, but enough to where it wears him down.
No. Why would I get grumpy with you? You're my partner.
I'm like fine sandpaper. Just trying to smooth out those rough edges.
Good luck. They're old. They're pretty old and jagged. Good luck.
Well, how's the inshore fishing going, brother?
Well, again, spotty red tide keeps things interesting for, the next couple of days when I'm on the water.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to get out there. The one trick is going to be the full moon. And not that that's a bad thing because we'll have good moving water. The thing about the full moon that always makes me a little nervous is things move, especially the bait.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to the guys. I've got 3 boats running tomorrow morning, and I just, I know where the bait was, but here we are on top of the full moon. It could move around some. You could have, you had nice, clean pilchards, or, all white bait, fluffy and sexy and all that good stuff. And sometimes on the moon, you get a big push of thread fins to join them or sardines to join them. And we call it dirty bait. And at that point, it just, you end up with some undesirables in there. So, it just, I'm looking forward to it because the weather's been good. The weather looks like it's going to be good. So it kind of is what it is. I think it's too early. We talked a lot about that on the shows this weekend. I think the water temps are too high for this time of year, but Mother Nature has given us what she's given us. So, one of the cool things about, being a charter captain is it's always changing. You never know exactly what to expect. Things are curveballs coming at you. And, we're going to be fishing like it's, the end of March, maybe, even a little later than that this week as we, just go to work and try and catch our customers some fish.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. It was interesting today. I was like, man, we got to have a lot of mackerel out there. The water temperature the way it is. I was like, hey, take some trolling spoons out on this half-day trip on the afternoon, and let's see how many mackerel you guys bring back and see how thick they are. They caught 5 mackerel with 1 trolling spoon on the way offshore. So
wow.
The mackerel are thick near shore, and they were pretty good size too. So it's early, extremely early. But the mackerel are here near shore, and I hear that there's already some good numbers around the Skyway and stuff like that. Are you seeing them flats fishing yet?
Yeah, there's been a pretty good, actually, inside the Skyway, there's been a pretty good mackerel bite. Now they're moving around a little bit because the bait's moving some.
Yeah.
So that kind of keeps you on your toes. I got a report of a really, really good bite that I'm going to go check out tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, we're going to have super low water. It's going to be coming in by the time I pick my people up, so it'll be moving. But a lot of the stuff that I like to fish, I like to have a little more water. So we'll be fishing some edges in the morning, some deeper flats, things like that, targeting mackerel and some speckled trout, maybe some bluefish. So wait. That's the game plan for the morning. Like I said, the one thing about we got 2 things. A, the mackerel have been moving around ridiculously fast anyway.
Yeah.
You get a report that, hey, we couldn't get baits in the water fast enough and we were on this flat. and then you go check it tomorrow, and they're already gone. They're not there. And then you get a call from somebody else that says, hey, I found them over here, and they're crazy thick. We're catching them one after another. And, we'll just have to see if they're still there tomorrow when we get there. So
True.
It's going to be interesting, but, they're great. They're just a great fish to catch. The word even on the inside of the Skyway Bridge is that the mackerel that have shown up early have all been really big and healthy, some up to almost 24 inches. So it should be a pretty sexy spring.
So I'm confused though. You said, first of all, a sexy spring. I'm confused by that. But also, you said tomorrow you're going to be fishing the incoming tide, but it's a full moon. I thought we only fished the outgoing tide on a full moon.
Well, you got incoming tide until late in the day. So, being a charter captain, I don't have the, yes, if you're asking me when should you go fishing, you should fish that outgoing tide because it's going to be really good. Yeah. But, on the inshore stuff, we got to go catch them when we got to go catch them. And we got incoming water on the full moon. And I think we'll still be able to catch some fish because of the scenario we have kind of laid out here, where a lot of those snook are pushing out of the backcountry. They're feeling this spring. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be active. Mackerel are always feeding. So if you can find them, although it's a little better even on the full moon on the outgoing tide, they still eat on the incoming because they're pelagic. So, it's just, it is what it is, and I get that question all the time. Hey, when should I go fishing? Okay, well, depends on what your moon phase is. New moon incoming, full moon outgoing. You know the drill. But I'm going fishing tomorrow morning, and we're gonna try and catch them up.
Yeah, so that's the thing that everybody always asks: when should I go fishing, or what's the best time to go fishing? To me, it's when you're not too busy, right?
Right. Yeah. Whenever you can go.
Yeah.
And that's usually the case. A lot of us just get too busy. We don't get to fish as much as we want to, and sometimes you just got to make time and make it happen. And it doesn't really matter what the tides are. I mean, we've talked about it for years. There's about 14 decent days of fishing a month, and there's about 14 crappy days of fishing a month. Yeah. It's just kind of the way it works. Some of your crappier days were not as fishy days, and some are less fishy than others, and some of your good days are fishier than the others, but that's usually the way it works. You got about 14 good, 14 bad, or you can split it into thirds and go, you got 10 great, 10 good, and 10 not so good. Just kind of the way the month.
And I would even add too, like in your business model and the way you prosecute the fishery, you're out there for a 4 or 5 hour period, maybe 6 hours, maybe an 8 hour. But for us, when on these longer trips, it's really interesting because in one trip, you can go through that whole process. All right, it's total slow, just nails on a chalkboard. This is brutal to bites on, and then all of a sudden back to just mediocre picking through them. And that's what's so interesting on like a 12-hour trip, or especially a 39 or 44-hour trip. It gives us a lot of flexibility to change depths, change areas, or just wait out the tide. And it's comical as well, the different captains' approaches to that. So some of the older school guys will sit on a spot, and like my dad always says, you don't leave fish to go find fish. So you got a big show on the machine. They're down there. They're just not eating. They're not eating because the tide's wrong, or the water temperatures, or it's just not the right time. So if you leave those fish to go find chewing fish, you could just be chasing your tail all day. If you just sit there and soak baits and get that smell going in the water, those fish will eventually have to eat at some time.
Sure. Yeah. There's no doubt. And there's a lot of truth to that. Even if on the inshore side, if I'm on a 4-hour, 6-hour trip, and let's just say you get on a giant school of redfish and your bite is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen, many times over my 23 years of doing this, where my customers are like, dude, can we go do something else? I'm like, you want to leave? I'm like, okay, but I mean,
you made it too
and I
easy.
tell them, you don't leave fish to go find fish. We've got 250 redfish that are absolutely turned on, going crazy every cast for catching a redfish.
Yeah.
I got other fish, but we could get over there and they don't chew. You just don't know. Or they could have moved from yesterday. You just don't know. So, and sometimes it's like, you know what? We don't care. We're good. We've all caught 15 or 20 redfish apiece. We're tired. put us on something else. We need a break. We need a sandwich, and you just go do it. But it's a double-edged sword sometimes, So, I believe your dad's right. Don't leave fish to go find fish.
Yeah, and the vice versa is true. Like if you get up on a flat and you can see them, but they're not eating, trying different baits, different size lines, different casts, getting in front of the fish, trying different things instead of trying to just go find a different school that might happen to be a little bit more active, Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think that you just have to go through the scenario in your head, and then I tend to leave it on my clients. I'm like, listen, I look, there's 40 snook on the shoreline. They're not doing anything. They're not chasing chummies real good. They're not eating dead baits. They're not eating live baits. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we don't have a good tide. We're not going to have a good tide until after we're already off the water. You want to go try something else? We'll see if we can get the mackerel going, the trout going, maybe catch a redfish, or do you just want to sit here and wait to see if this turns on? And, sometimes they're like, I don't know, you're the captain, you decide. And then you just got to flip a coin and say, okay, well, I think I can catch some fish over here. I was on a good trout bite over here. Maybe we'll go see if we can get these trout to eat. And sometimes it's just that. Yeah. You have to remember, too, a lot of it is species dependent. True. So let's say, you have a cold front or some colder water drops in on you. Snook being a subtropical species, although this new strain is obviously tougher with cold weather than the ones we've had in the past because of the freezes have killed off some of the weaker snook. Mm-hmm. When you may have to walk away from a shoreline that's covered with a subtropical species like snook and go to trying to catch redfish on a dock line or sheephead on a dock line or trout on deep flat because they're more cold water tolerant.
True.
So sometimes you have to put all that stuff into the equation and just weigh your options. And then I tell people all the time, every time I leave the marina in the morning, I tell my customers, I'm like, some days I'm pretty good at this. And some days I'm not so good. I'll tell you in about 4 hours or 6 hours, whatever their trip is,
and you tell
what today is. Yeah, I'll let you know here shortly, the next couple hours. And it's true. Some days I'm really good at it, and some days I'm sort of good at it. Some days I'm terrible.
Yeah.
As all charter captains are. So, some days they choose. Sometimes you zig when you should zag. Sometimes you leave a spot. You're fishing next to your buddy, and you're sitting on fish, and you're like, I can't do this anymore. My ADD kicks in sometimes, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. I got to get out of here. And I leave, and then I just set up on another spot, and my partner will go, dude, you left a little too early. They're chewing. I'm like, of course they are.
Yeah.
So, it happens.
Yeah, it's funny. You just never know. I always tell people we guarantee an excellent client experience with superior guest service. And if you have a question, common concern, don't be afraid to ask. And we do guarantee an excellent client experience with superior guest service, but we can't control the weather. We can't make fish bite.
That's fact. Yeah. I always tell people, young captains, I tell them, listen, I built my business model off of just a couple, one really, really surefire statement, and that is, I control what I can control. Yeah. I make sure we've got great gear. It's clean. It's serviceable. I'm spooled up a great line. I've got fresh bait, whether it's cut bait, shrimp, whatever the season dictates.
Brand new contender.
My boat's clean. Yeah, my boat's clean. It's brand new. I got the best gear that money can buy. I have everything under control that I can control.
Yeah.
I can't, like you said, I can't control the weather, and I can't make them shoot.
Yep.
Some days I'm good at this. Some days I'm not good. Some days I zig when I should zag. And, somebody's going to catch them. Even on a bad day, 20 of us can just struggle. We're on the phone talking. Hey, how's your bite? You got anything going on? No, my bite sucks over here too. That's usually when I say, okay, good. It's not just me. And then you'll pull into the marina and somebody, it's usually Dave Marquette, but it'll be one of those guys that's just like, oh man, we had a good bite. We kicked their butt. And you're like, of course you did. But it's just the way it works. Yep. Somewhere there's a pocket of fish they're going to chew. Somebody's going to figure something out, hit the spot right, maybe a little corner or a pinch down where the tide picks up just a little bit, or an area where the sun's just cooking it just a little more and it's up a degree or two in water temp, or a little bit cooler. Maybe they found a little cooler spot where those fish are happy, depending on if it's in the middle of summer. So, a lot of that stuff comes into play. And it's fishing. You got to go do the best you can and hope for the best. I tell people all the time, slow down while you're out there.
Watch.
I love to catch fish. It's a huge part of it. Yeah. But we live in such a beautiful place. Don't forget to enjoy that part while you're out there.
Just driving around town. But yes, I would agree completely. Slow down, take a second, soak it all in. It's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
No
we
doubt.
appreciate it.
To live here.
All
right, buddy.
As always, keeping it positive tonight. Let's look at us. We've turned a corner.
Yeah, that's how we are. We're a shining star in a crazy world.
Just don't listen to our radio show.
No, well, we try to level it off.
I guess in the late night we're much more positive people.
Well, Mahoney and Marshall got me going really early this morning too. I was all fired up. So.
Oh, I heard. I heard.
Yeah. So it's. I'm taking my medication. I'm getting ready to go to bed. So
Blood pressure.
Right.
All right, brother. Well, I will catch up to you, and I will see you soon. Thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, my friend. Have a great week. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. See you.
See you, buddy.
All right. Always a pleasure chatting with our friend Capt. Mike Anderson on some inshore fishing. Remember, if you are interested, right on our website at hubbardsmarina.com, you can click private charters, and then private charter. Josh is going to get mad at me. No. All right. Private charters. See, I was there. I knew it was there. So private charters, private charter fishing, and then you can go to Inshore Fishing for all the Captain Mike information, his pricing, all of that. His phone number's on here. So if you want to book a trip with Captain Mike or one of his buddies, he will get you set up right through our Hubbard's Marina website. We try to make it easy for you. So hopefully you guys check that out, and hopefully we'll see you Tuesday, March 28th at Bartow Ford for myself, Captain Mike Anderson, and of course, Captain Scott Moore as well. So let's see some other questions. Let's get into some other questions. Let's see. Best bait and setup for mangrove snapper. I would say the best bait and setup for mangrove snapper. That could literally be a whole show in and of itself. I would say we'd probably have to point you in the direction of our fishing tips and tricks page on our website. Under fishing trips, you can scroll down to more info, and then under more info, I would check out under fishing video links, I would hit catch more fish. Josh is giving me the evil eye. That's twice now. Misnavigated the website. And then you can see the fishing tips and tricks page. You can hit the little view more button. That's going to bring you to our fishing tips and tricks page. There's one under, I think, the first section. First section, mangrove snapper secrets. This is a 30-minute video. I think even like closer to 40-minute video of just diatribe on mangrove snapper. And we have a few more newer ones as well uploaded to our YouTube channel. And then also under that fishing video links, you can go to Bass Pro Shops Fishing Seminar. And all our Bass Pro Shop seminars are here. These are hour-long seminars, just tons and tons of videos. And you can look at the second page too. So there's a ton of videos up there. So literally hours and hours of fishing seminars, and then specific mangrove snapper tips and tricks. But I would say a high-speed reel, 5-6 to 1 gear ratio is helpful. Thinner wire hooks, it changes with the depth on a 10-hour 3 to 4-aught hooks, on a 39-hour 5 to 6-aught hooks. Double snell, small chunk of thread fin is going to be your go-to, I would suggest, for mangrove snapper. You can even catch them using live shrimp, but pretty tricky. They're a fast-biting, smart fish. Fluorocarbon is a good idea. I would also suggest making sure you're using a fish finder rig, a little bit better option for the mangrove snapper. And then the rod needs to have a nice, light, sensitive tip with a good backbone to it. 2-speed reels help because whenever you're fishing for mangrove snapper, inevitably you might hook something bigger. So a 2-speed reel is a good option for that suggestion as well. But mangrove snapper are awesome. We don't really chum ourselves because when we're fishing on a party boat with 20, 30, 40 people, You don't need to chum. Everybody dropping down bait gets plenty of smell going in the water. If you're on your own boat, you're fishing with 2, 3, 4 buddies, I would suggest Aquatic Nutrition Sport Fishing Chum. They make a snapper up and a chum drop. They also make super shrimps for hog fishing. So really good chum options at Aquatic Nutrition Sport Fishing Chums. So I would check those out, in my opinion. How do you think next weekend's 10-hour trip will be? That's funny. My wife and I were having this discussion prior to the show. She has her hairdresser wants to come out and go fishing. And she was like, well, what do you think the weather's going to be like next weekend? I was like, it's Sunday, honey. I have no clue what the weather's going to be like next weekend. The thing about weather is, let me show you this, and let me show you why the discussion began. We're going to go back to our Weather Links page in the 5 and 10-hour forecast area, and I'm going to skip right to Sunday. So Sunday, of course it changed. Defeats my purpose, defeats my my point. But here in the morning, you can kind of see it. So the whole day Sunday, 3 hours ago when I was looking at this with my wife, the whole day Sunday was less than 10 miles an hour. It was all dark blue. So it was literally 10 miles an hour gusts, but it was showing 3.5 foot. It's still showing 3.6 foot, blowing 5 miles an hour Sunday morning. So something's not adding up. That does not make sense. In order to blow a 3.5 foot wave, it's got to be blowing every bit of 15 to 20. So something's not right. I would say probably going to be changing that forecast because we got a high pressure that comes in early weekend. We got a tight pressure gradient. Then we got a big cold front pushing down that's supposed to come in early work week coming up. That's a lot of pressure changes, a lot of big pressure movements, a lot of big ridges moving across the state. Makes it very difficult to forecast. So to answer your question, it's impossible to answer your question. How the 10-hour trip fishing is going to be a week from today, 7 days from today, with all those different question marks in the air, it's impossible to know. What I would suggest is right now the best weather looks like Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. And I would get out there and go fishing, especially Monday, Tuesday, right ahead of this full moon. Should be really, really good fishing opportunities. So I would go out in the 10-hour Tuesday or the 5-hour trip Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or the Tuesday 39-hour or the Wednesday 12-hour extreme trip. All of those options would be your best bet. Best weather, definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday over the next 7 days. Have you guys ever caught octopus or squid while on a fishing trip? Yes, we have people that bring squid jigs out certain times of year. We're actually coming up to that time of year where we see a lot of squid offshore on our 39-hour trips at night. 12-hour night snapper trips, we see them as well. You can bring a squid jig and catch plenty of squid. But I would do that on the Skyway at night or the Dick Meisner Bridge at night or the Bunces Pass area, the Fort DeSoto Bridge. Sometimes even the Johns Pass Bridge will see squid at night. I would focus on bottom fishing when you're offshore, or you could catch one of those live squid and send it down to bottom. It's up to you. But yes, we do see squid, and we sometimes catch octopus, but they're a lot harder. There's no such thing as an octopus jig to catch octopus. There's octopus jigs. We sell them in our shop, but they look like octopus, right, to catch fish. There's not a jig that is meant to catch octopus, but we do sometimes catch them. You'll be reeling up, and it's like, what do I have on here? It's just dead weight. It's not fighting, but there's weight on your line. A lot of times that'll be an octopus or a small piece of rock, and you just steady crank it to the surface. And a lot of times if you see that octopus, if you're able to swing it in really, really quickly, it'll stay on your hook, and you'll be able to have killer bait. One octopus tentacle is amazing bait because it'll actually stay alive like a lizard's tail. You ever try to catch a lizard when you were a kid and the tail fell off and it's still moving? That's what an octopus tentacle does. You take that, put it on a hook, and it's moving. It is crazy, and it's incredible bait. and it stays on the hook. You'll catch 10 fish with one octopus tentacle. It's absolutely insane. So really, really great bait. Highly, highly recommend. So we gave away our 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. It's time for another giveaway. Let's do our Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Hubbard's Marina swag pack for one lucky winner. Remember, if you're the winner of the Hubbard's Marina swag pack, you have to text us within 5 minutes, just like if you won a shirt or a trip. But you also have to let us know your shirt size. So if you win the swag pack, let us know your shirt size and text us your full home address. Lucky winner is Fatima. Hokular. I'm gonna go with that. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys from Clearwater, Florida. So local. Make sure you text us your full home address and also your shirt size. So congratulations. I see they are watching live, so congrats on the win of the Hubbard's Marina swag pack. We still got that 5-hour half day for 2 guests and the 39-hour trip to give away as well, so we still got plenty more going on here as well. Let's see, next question. Have you limited the number of people you take out on your 39-hour American red snapper trips? Yes, we always have. We limit the number of anglers on 39-hour trips to 50. The boat's licensed for 120, has 78 rod holders. We fish 65 on a half day. We fish up to 60 on a 10-hour. And on a 39, we limit it to 50. And then this year, first time ever, by popular demand, we have included three limited load extremely light load 39-hour trips. So for those people who want light loads and who want guaranteed light loads, we have 3 dates 2 dates in June, 1 date in July with only 35 people, but it is more money because of the change in the number of passengers. So if you want light load 39 hours, there's 2 in June. There's 1 in July. Those trips look like they're going to cruise with like 20, 25, maybe 30 people. So super light loads and much lighter than a normal 39-hour trip. So you got 3 guaranteed light load trips, and then the rest of red snapper season will probably be at 50, which is still lighter than it could be. My grandfather used to put 100 people on the Florida fishermen for those long-range trips. But back then, they used to gamble. They used to gamble a lot as well. It was kind of a gambling fishing trip, but a little different in today's day and age. Let's see, what is the next question? What is the typical water depth on in a 12-hour night snapper trip? We're typically fishing about 25 to 35 miles offshore on one of those 12-hour night trips, and we're typically fishing anywhere from about 100 to about 100 to about 120 foot of water on those 12-hour night mangrove snapper trips, targeting mangrove snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, almacos, yellowtails. We might see some keeper red grouper or gag grouper in their respective seasons, but most of the time we're seeing those mangrove snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, almacos, yellowtails, that kind of thing on the 12-hour night snapper. What is the best bait for a 12-hour extreme? I generally will be fishing a cut thread fin, cutting the head, cutting the tail, and using a double snell rig. I would be fishing with that 95% of the time on a 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, 44-hour, because it'll catch a grouper, it'll catch a snapper, and we see a lot of different variety as well. So pretty awesome. Next question, how old is the Florida Fisherman? It was built in the late 80s. The beautiful thing about these big metal fishing vessels is they, of course, age, but especially at Hubbard's Marina, we basically almost rebuild them every 2 years. So every other year, we take one of our boats to dry dock. Coast Guard goes over it with a fine-tooth comb. In any areas where we see aging, we literally have cut out and replaced. The Florida Fishermen, we replace almost 60% of the haul, and I believe that was 2012, somewhere around in there. And then over time, we've replaced motors, we've replaced generators, we've constantly stayed on top of the systems, so that really the average age of the boat is only 10, 12 years old, right? Because at any one time, nothing is really getting old. As soon as it starts to get dated, we're cutting it out or unbolting it and replacing it. So we really work hard to keep everything as fresh as possible. And hopefully soon we'll have a new party boat added to the fleet. We've grown our area by acquiring Don's Dock. Some cool news, some actually really cool news is this past week I negotiated, next week I will sign a 20-year lease, 20 years, 2 decades, the lease at Hubbard's Marina. We just finished negotiations with our landlord, so pretty pumped. We're going to be around a while. I'm going to be 52 years old by the time I have to talk about lease negotiations again with my landlord at Hubbard's Marina. So pretty awesome. Don's Dock, our lease is 15 years. So we're in this. We're locked in. We're not going anywhere as of anytime soon. We might expand. Got an interesting phone call today, and we'll see how that plays out. But that will be something we keep working on, right? So hopefully, I think we have 9 locations now, including everything. So it keeps us busy, but hopefully we keep continuing to grow. So we couldn't do it without you. This is all possible thanks to you guys and our Hubbard's Marina family. It'll be awesome. So looking forward to another great year in 2023, right? Let's see what our next question is. Charter captains are really in the entertainment business. If we kill fish, it's a bonus. 120% agree. What is a good quality starter slow pitch jig setup for the Gulf? And what do you prefer? I didn't catch the second part of that. Sorry. What do you prefer, standard conventional guides or spiral guides? So what they're talking about is for a rod, acid wrap is what I call it, where the guides spiral, or traditional where it's normal guides, like a normal conventional rod. Me personally, I like normal conventional guides because it makes it easy to transport. Acid wrapped is really cool and super nice because you don't have to worry about tip wrap as much. Especially if you're a little newer to it, it can make it a little easier because you're not worried about tip wrap. But the problem is it makes it really hard to transport and store your rods, because normally, like when I lean a rod up against a wall, or when I'm bundling my rods together to carry them to the boat, or when I'm putting my rod in the truck, I'm always making sure the guides are up. The guides aren't being rested on anything. The guides aren't being touched. With an acid wrap rod where those guides spiral around the rod, that is impossible. It is impossible to pick up that rod and put it against anything without a guide being pressed against something. So I don't like acid wrap rods for that reason, but they are nice in the fact that it prevents the reel from falling over on you when you're jigging or when you go to crank, and they are nice to fish with. They definitely make things a little bit more balanced. And you don't have to worry about tip wrap. So once on the boat, actually offshore fishing actively, an acid wrapped or twisted eye rod is nice. But getting offshore, storing the rod, transporting the rod sucks. So pick your poison. I tried one. I had one. I liked it. I liked fishing with it. It was just such a pain in the butt to transport. I ended up... I never sell guns and I never sell rods, but that rod I ended up just letting go to a friend. But as a point of just personal character, I never sell rods or guns. It's a memory, right? You just hold on. But don't tell my wife, because they're all investments, if you ask me, in front of her. Ooh, I just got a little sweaty there. I got scared. Let's see. Next question. Let's move on from that one. At what age did your dad retire, or did he? My dad is not retired. I don't think he ever will retire. My dad is 57 years old. No, he told everybody he's 57. He's 59. He's 59. All right, he tricked me. Yes. He sent out invitations to his birthday party and said, I'm turning 57, Mark's 57th birthday. He's really 59. So, yes, he got me. But, yeah, he is not retired. He's just out of operations at Hubbard's Marina and Sea Adventures, our two main businesses at Johns Pass. But he is really active in our company called Big Wave, Hubbs Marine Fabrication, and Wonderfield Farm and Grove. That's where he does most of his work, which is a farm property we have up in Floral City. Hubbs Marine Fabrication is the boat building company we have over in Gulfport, and Big Wave is kind of the management company or corporate parent of a lot of our different corporations. So he does a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. He said it really well today when we were talking to someone, is he keeps the foundation solidified, right? He goes around and helps with the dry dock. He helps with a lot of the Coast Guard stuff. He helps make sure we have a good running operation vessel-wise and asset-wise. And we've got insurance ironed out and all those nitty-gritty details. And we take care of the rest. And that's we have a really good division of labor. We work really well together. And it's taken a lot of effort over the years, but I have grown up and learned my lessons, and I feel we have finally figured it out as I've matured. It's funny looking back at how you think you knew everything in your 20s, right? And it's mind-boggling when you get into your late 20s, early 30s, and you're like, holy moly, I really don't know anything. I got to learn some stuff. It's pretty funny. Great photos someone sent us of a sailfish. Is that local? I'm not sure. Just blinked away. That was a solid sailfish. Holy moly. I think that had to be southeast Florida because you could see the land in the background. No, it's fine. It's fine. Next question. Let's get to our questions. But after the show, we're going to look at that sailfish photo some more. Love me some big sailfish. How is red tide? A lot of questions about red tide. So we'll talk about that for the last question of the show. So we'll bring up here our FWC red tide current status website. So the current status of red tide around Tampa Bay, Mike said it best earlier when he said it's just really spotty. And that's basically what we're dealing with. It's really spotty. So there's some pockets of bad red tide. You got to remember that this page on FWC's website is outdated. A lot of these sites, so we'll scroll in here to Pinellas County. So a lot of these sites will be like 4 or 5 days old. So this one off of Treasure Island saying really high concentrations, that was 4 days ago. So a lot can change. Water can move 100 miles in 4 days. So this one was, look at that, February 27th. That's 6 days ago, almost a week old. So a lot of this red concentrations, the heavy concentrations, moved north. Indian Rocks Beach, Clearwater really, really dealt with some pretty heavy concentrations of red tide the last couple days. So it changes from day to day. So it's really hard to know. But this is the big focus. You can kind of see here. It is, of course, it's not going to let me. There it is. Josh taught me this. I know. So you can see here basically Clearwater Beach, just south of Anclote, all the way down to Naples, Fort Myers. We're going to have concentrations of red tide on and off. You can see kind of up the coast, the satellite images of some of that coming out. It's not offshore. It's not nearshore. But it is on the beach, and we do have spotty areas of that red tide. So the biggest thing that it affects for us is our ability to get pinfish. because we have to bring pinfish to our docks, put it on the boats, and people immediately are like, what if I bring my own pinfish? If I can't bring pinfish to the dock and keep pinfish alive, you can bring all the pinfish you want. They're not going to stay alive either, right? So that's the problem right now. That's affecting us most. But we're going to try tomorrow to catch some pinfish. Today the water looked pretty good. We had whitebait around the dock. We had sheep's head around our dock this morning. So hopeful that we'll be able to get pinfish and keep pinfish alive for our Tuesday 10-hour trip, for our Tuesday 39-hour trip, and we'll know more tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully we won't be calling our 39-hour guests tomorrow and letting them know we won't have pinfish. Hopefully we'll be catching them up and keeping them alive. So to answer your question, red tide is around, but it's very spotty. Some people are more affected. If you have COPD, asthma, you have to be a little bit more conscious. If you're a healthy individual, you really might cough a little bit. You might have a little tickle in your throat. That's about it. We don't have a ton of dead fish around. To be honest, really haven't seen much dead fish at all yet. In some of those back bay areas, some of those canals, you'll see more of the dead fish kind of concentrated. But we haven't really seen that yet, so who knows. Let's go ahead and give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Then we'll answer one more question and then end up with the 39 hours. So Stephen Batchelor won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests all the way from Georgia. Our good buddy Stephen Batchelor just won that 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Make sure you text us the phone number on the screen. Stephen Batchelor has been watching the show since we pretty much started back in 2016. And he and his friends come down and do a 39-hour private charter with us every year. So congrats, Stephen Batchelor. Let's see. From there, we got time for one more question. Let's see what other questions do we have. Is there a season for hogfish? Do they close at some point? No, we don't have a season for hogfish. They are 12 months at this time. They do have a minimum size limit of 14 inches. I believe I want to say it's still 5 per person per day. It might be 4. I would honestly have to double check. It's either 4 or 5 on the hogfish. But right on our website, Josh is already navigating there. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com and click fishing trips, go down to more info, fishing rules and regulations. You can download the Fish Rules app or hit view on the website. It's our, oh, no, you're right. Josh is already doing it. Hit the top left. You can change the location, make sure you're in federal waters, and then find a species. You can search for hogfish, and I think these are going to be state regulations anyway. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The hogfish aren't managed by maybe they are managed by the feds. Now I'm second guessing myself, so I think I know state and federal regulations are congruent. Yeah, they are congruent. So 5 hogfish per person per day, minimum size limit of 14 inches. So thank you, Josh, for double checking. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Hopefully we'll see you every Sunday night right here on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat pages. Remember to check us out on TikTok. Remember to check us out on Pinterest, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Check me out on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And hopefully we'll see you at the dock soon. Don't forget, we have tons of fishing opportunities, dolphin tours, island trips. We have booze cruises. We have private charters. We do it all out there on the water. You can also check out our friends through Capt. Mike Anderson. We got a lot of different options for you. And if you don't want to fish with us, you got a buddy's boat, you got your own boat, stop by Don's Dock. Buy bait, ice, fuel from us. You can always use our website for fishing tips and tricks, fishing video links. Tell your friends. I'm going to ask everybody, go out this week and tell one person about that Sunday night live stream show. So help me out. Get one friend for me. Just one person. You don't have to tell 5 people, but tell a buddy that you think might be interested in winning free trips or learning a little bit more about fishing. Tell them about the Sunday night live stream show and invite them to join us. And tell them if they win anything, they have to give it to you, split it with you, right? Because the commission, you told them about the show. So tell one friend about the show. Help us to spread the word. This isn't something that we do for any other reason except for to support you guys and to help outreach and tell you guys more about fishing and answer your questions and stuff. So help us help you. Tell one friend this week about the Hubbard's Marina live stream show. Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard, it's called. So tell a friend, join us, come out and see us. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. And another plea that I could help, that would really help, is through the week, guys, if you see Hubbard's Marina post something on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on whatever, if you scroll by something we post, like it, comment, share it. It helps us to reach more people, and it helps to make sure you don't miss our posts. If you scroll by something we post and you don't stop on it, you don't click on it, you don't like it, you're going to stop seeing our posts. That's how social media works. And some of you might never see our posts right now. Maybe you haven't liked something that we posted in a week or two. You'll stop seeing it. Social media will stop showing it to you because they think that you're not interested. So make sure you like our posts, you comment on the posts, maybe even share it if you want. But hopefully we'll see you soon out on the water. Hopefully you'll tell a friend this week about our live stream show. Hopefully you'll come eat some free food at Final Friday. We're giving away hundreds of pounds of crawfish, shrimp, sausage, clams, what's the other thing? Mussels, potatoes, corn. It's a great time. Free beer. We gave away 450 beers. We gave away soda, water, free food during the last Final Friday event. We're going to do it again this Final Friday, every Final Friday. That party is for you. That's for our Hubbard's Marina family. We hope to see you there, 6 to 9 p.m. March 31st is the next one. March 19th, 2 p.m. will be at Bass Pro Shops. March 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. will be at Bartow Ford. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. And with that, let's find out who won our 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. Let's see who won that 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Mike Seeger, congratulations, my man. Big winner tonight. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Oh, Mike Seeger won the 39-hour. It's his birthday tomorrow. That's awesome. Happy birthday, Mike. What a birthday surprise for you, buddy. That's awesome. Congrats, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you being a part of our fishing family at Hubbard's Marina, and we hope to see you all soon. If you want, maybe think about becoming a supporter. It's $4.99 for the whole month. You get behind-the-scenes access, more communication, access to the private after show. If you're a supporter, join us for the supporters after show. It'll happen at 8:45. So in about 11 minutes, we're going to be live again for the supporters after show. Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. We'll see you soon at Hubbard's Marina. Thanks for watching.